What is good, y'all? What is going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. The day has finally arrived for me to be here with the Dawn Elizabeth. How much time do you actually have? I was thinking like maybe an hour, but it's really up to you. What is your availability for today?
Yeah, like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay, that works for me. Okay, so yeah, I really wanted to bring you here for this interview because I wanted to pick your brain about how you lost weight, how you've maintained the weight loss, how you have been able to inspire other people with weight loss. And I also wanted to inquire in, I guess, the second portion of it, like how you built your social media. Um, too, because I don't know, did you start your journey initially and then document it as you went, or how did you do it?
So when I first started, I had already had a YouTube channel, but I used to be a makeup artist. I used to do makeup a lot when I was in high school. So I
Mhm.
just used my YouTube channel for that. So I already had not really any subscribers, not much at all. So I was just using that, and I kind of already had like people following me for like makeup because I
Mhm.
was doing like a lot of people in the Houston area. So when I first started my weight loss journey, I just started to like make videos on Snapchat, and I was like, okay, maybe it'd probably be good for me to just start making videos on YouTube because like I used to always watch YouTube, and I wanted to have like a place where I kept, different stages in my journey so that I could always go back and watch it. Like always go back and refer back to where I came from. So I just started to document it, and I never really thought nothing of it. Like I never thought like it really was like more so for me because then I didn't when I first started I didn't think that I was gonna like inspire a lot of people to like actually want to get fit and actually do it. So I was like, well, let me just make this little diary and use it as my YouTube just for me to go back and watch, and then also make it public because when I first started, I wasn't sure how long I was gonna stick to it. I just knew that I made that commitment. So I was like, okay, let me make this and grow more people to watch, so then maybe I can have like them as also like an accountability for me to just keep going and keep continuing what I started with.
Gotcha. And I'm just sharing this on one of my other accounts. So I'm not being rude. I'm just
No, you
sharing
fine.
just to let people know that we are live on this particular one so that they can come and join.
Okay.
But yeah, so the one thing that really also fascinated me about your story, and just how far you've come is what motivated you to. Because like I was telling you, due to this pandemic and being confined up in the house, I've definitely been trying to do much better when it comes to my own health and wellness.
Hmm.
Just because this is probably the new normal, and I don't know how long we're gonna keep having to live life, like this. And
Yeah.
the last thing that I want to do is just lose myself waiting on life to get back to normal. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. You
So okay. So I would say when I very, very first started, well, growing up, I always was like a heavier girl. And so I struggled a lot with just learning how to accept myself. Just
can.
because like growing up, even like now, like just think about now with like social media and what we see, like that's mainstream, you don't see a lot of heavier women. You don't see a lot. You see a lot of people with, you know, curvier bodies,
Mhm.
surgical bodies. So it's kind of hard for a person that don't really know who they are or know how to accept what they look like to just actually be okay with it if like what people look up to is that's what we have. So when I was growing up, I was like, oh, and I used to get bullied a lot because I just didn't know, like I didn't really recognize my true beauty. So I would try to lose weight, try to starve myself, try to work out, and I was always active. I played sports all throughout middle school. I played sports all throughout high school, so I was a very active person. It wasn't like that I was just like heavy and not active. I
Mhm.
always played sports. But once I was able to actually take time to like practice self love, I knew that even if I lost the weight or I gained more weight, I was never gonna be happy with myself until I learned to love the person that I was right then and at that moment. So it was just pretty much running in circles, trying to do stuff to prove stuff to other people, and instead of just doing it for myself. So after I kind of like started to fall in love with myself, I was like, I don't want to lose weight no more. Like I'm cool. Like I'm fine with it. I was
Mhm.
content. I was
Mhm.
content with myself. And so it wasn't until I had got bit by a snake. I don't know if you probably
I
seen it.
wanted to segue to that. Yes, because I think that is an interesting way to get somebody on the journey, because I would think that that snake bite would have hindered you from, being more active.
Yes,
Instead, that actually propelled you.
yes, because it took me a minute to actually heal from it. It took me about, I got bit maybe what I want to say April, either March or April. It was sometime around spring, and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start my weight loss journey until that following January, if I'm not mistaken. So it took a long time for me, my foot to heal, for it to grow back, and then that's when I started my weight loss journey in January, because I think that happened in 2018. Yeah, and I started my weight loss journey in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just me being not able to walk. It was like my toe was so big that my foot kind of like leaned over to the side like this. So I was like walking on the ball, this part of my foot. So
Mm-hmm.
it never really occurred to me like that. I guess like just growing up, I never really experienced it like that. I will never say knock on wood. I never, but I
Right.
hadn't experienced like hurting myself or being on crutches. I never was crippled, so being
Mm-hmm.
able to carry all that weight around on one foot made me realize like, okay, I gotta do something about this, because like, yeah, every time I go to the doctor, they will always say that I'm healthy and everything. Hello, they will always say that I was healthy, but and overall, I know that just having that weight over me on me for years and years will eventually start to bring on health problems, which I wanted to avoid while I was at a young age, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, let's get started.
And that's the thing for many people who don't know about Dawn and her story. While she was in college, she got bit by a snake in the mountains somewhere. Her and her friends went hiking, and the snake bit her. She ended up having like this swelling on her big toe, and she ended up having to be on crutches for a little while until her foot healed up. And so that's what caused her to go on to her weight loss journey. And now, with you being in college, when all of this happened, well, I guess I should ask you, what do you eat and do now? Like now.
So now it's a little bit rough.
Uh-huh.
Like, okay, so I can honestly say, like, now this is the phase that I am in my journey has been the toughest. This part, this part that I'm in right now is the toughest part of my journey, because it's about me trying to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always easier for me to lose, because like either you do it right or you don't do it right. You know, of course you have your fall offs, but like now that I'm kind of at a weight that I want to maintain, it's a little bit easier, because I'm starting to like not want to feel like a robot all the time when it comes to what I'm eating and how I'm eating, and like about working out. So now I'm pretty much trying to stay consistent with tracking my calories. I still track my macros. It's not as like super consistent as I was when I was like doing it. But I'm trying to just create that balance, because now I'm back at home in Houston. I went to school in Austin. So now I'm back at home, and it's kind of like it's harder for me now, because it's kind of like coming back into the environment that I changed while I was staying by myself. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what makes it even more difficult. Like, it's like, yeah, you had a lot of discipline when I was in Austin, because it was like out of sight, out of mind. Like, I
Right.
didn't buy those type of things that I would usually crave, and I didn't buy stuff that I knew that I didn't know how to control myself with eating. So now that it's in my face 24/7, it's like now I have to tap into a whole nother side of self-discipline if I want to keep and maintain, what I have accomplished so far. So I still try to track my calories, but I still do kind of like go off the railings a little bit on the weekends, but pretty much just trying to create a balance, just with tracking, eating things that I know I'm supposed to, still having things that I love. And if anything, if I don't eat right, I'm always keep exercising. So that's one thing
Mm-hmm.
that will always stay consistent with me.
Yeah, and that's I noticed that you did your boot camp this morning.
Yes, I had in-person boot camp, and then I had a virtual boot camp this morning as well.
Okay, so you do two different boot camps, because I saw about your virtual one.
Yes.
And yeah, y'all, for anybody who is interested, she does do virtual boot camps via Zoom, where you can email her and become a client and actually work out with her via Zoom, do the stuff that she do. to keep her body right and tight. So yeah, but I saw that you had posted about your in-person
Yes.
one on Instagram.
Yeah, so I do the in person one and then I do the virtual one. So it's kind of like two different times. I'm trying to get to where I have like the people in person and Zoom at the same time, just so everybody can kind of get that same experience. But I'm
Hmm.
working on it with my schedule. I had one more class for my undergrad, so like now I'm taking one more class before I can like receive my degree. So that has been holding me back a little bit. So I'll be a little stressed out, but I'm still making it work.
Well, that's good. And the one thing that you are saying about the fact that you went back home, I totally get that because although I live here in Atlanta, I'm originally from Mississippi, South Mississippi actually. So anytime I'm trying to focus on my own self, like right now I've been toying with the water fasting is what I've been doing, where I would do fasting like I'm drinking this bubbly right now, but it's mostly like the intermittent fasting where I might try to do a 20 and then have a 4 hour eating window and then go back into the 20 like that. But anyway, when I go back home, it's always difficult. Now that the pandemic is here, I have not been home. But
Uh-huh.
prior to, yeah, your relatives always want you to come eat, come get a plate, come stop over here. I've just made gumbo. I made this, so I could understand the struggle that you probably have now that you're back home.
And then like one another thing that I realized was like when I was like real deep into my journey, like at the phase where I was just losing, it was at the point where I would be scared to come home. Like scared, I was scared to come home because I'm like, oh, I'm into my journey, I'm deep into it. I'm kind of like, no, people gonna say like, oh, you need to eat, you need to eat, you need to do this,
Mm-hmm.
and then on top of that, it was a part of me like learning how to create that balance. So as long as I was scared to stay away, when I came home, I didn't know how to control myself. But if I was able to, like, I can't change the past, but I know, like, from now, things that I've, learned from, like, just making mistakes. I know that if I would have, like, not been so scared to come home and, like, not being so scared to just try different things and, like, learn how to just eat what I want, but in moderation and not tell myself, oh, you can't have it, then I
Mm-hmm.
probably would be able to balance it more about not like it's like once you tell yourself in your mind like, oh, I can't go home because I know I don't have the self-control to eat what I supposed to eat or enjoy
Mm-hmm.
the food because you want to enjoy the food because you ain't had it in a while. So
Right.
like and not like just go overboard with it. And so that also has to play with like what you're doing when you at your other home. Because in Austin, I would like literally it was to the point where like I would literally when the pandemic was not the hard part for me. During the pandemic, I lost about 30 pounds. I lost a lot of weight during the pandemic. It
Oh
was
wow.
when the world began to open back up is when I started to fall out. So it wasn't in a pandemic. It was kind of like well, I won't say like after because we still living in it, but like when
Right.
started, when things started to open back up, that's when I started to like kind of get off track. And then part of it was just me realizing that since you lose the weight, you can't throw away, like you can't bring back your old habits in. Like you have to learn how to get rid of those old habits and create new ones, but make those habits reasonable to where you're not feeling like you walking like a soldier just to look a certain way, to feel a certain way. It's just a part of like learning how to create that balance to where you're not feeling like, oh, I gotta do this or I can't have this. And then you
Right.
thinking about it 24/7. So you really can't enjoy yourself because you always think about like, oh, I can't have this, oh, I can't have that because I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. So that was just the struggle that I went through when I would come home. So now that I'm back home, it's like
Mhm.
everything in your face. All of it's in your face. If you want cookies, you got cookies. If you want fried chicken, you got fried chicken. You got pretty much everything that I can always want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, and I agree with you about that. Now, for me, I've had trouble just getting a balance
Hmm.
with the pandemic because my family does not live here in Atlanta, and I I really just keep myself distanced all at all, because you just never know who done been in contact with who and how you could be sick. So
Yeah.
I legitimately went for like several months, and I realized I hadn't even really left the house.
Hmm.
So one thing that I did start doing to try to motivate myself was get a Fitbit,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
at least the Fitbit can let me see that, hey, this whole day I went through and you only walked like 2,000 or 3,000 steps.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to use my Fitbit to incorporate more steps and actually put daily goals for myself. So that's been helpful. But with your exercise regimen, are you working out every day? Like, how are you doing it?
So I try to aim to work out 5 days a week. Now, sometimes with my training schedule, I'll like this week on one day I was not able to work out, but usually I try to work out 5 days a week, and then on a weekend I might go jog or like 6 days a week. But I'm active 6 days out the week regardless. So even if I don't work out, I'm pretty much still outside training and I'm moving around with my clients, so I'm still pretty much on my feet
Mm-hmm.
throughout the day. But just so that I can have a nice little peace of mind and a stress-free day, I try to go work out for at least 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes that's all I have. So I just
Mm-hmm.
make time with that. But before that, I was working out like 6 days a week with only one off day. And then like I have like my days where I go real hard. And then I have like the next following week where I kind of go light just so I can like make sure I don't pass out somewhere. Just so I
Right.
can, but exercise has became my stress reliever for when I just always got some thoughts going through my head 24/7. It's like something for me to just clear my mind, especially because I'm interacting with clients throughout the day. So I try to get in like 6 days a week, and even if it's I don't have time to go to the gym, I go run a quick mile and just be all day. Like I'm starting to learn how to be content with just moving my body with the time that I have available with my schedule.
Right. Okay. Okay. And so another question, and for the people in the chat, hey to everybody. I see everybody who's come in. If y'all have any questions, y'all can definitely type them up in the chat and I will highlight the questions. But I see everybody individually. Thank y'all so much for supporting and being here to listen to Dawn Elizabeth speak with me. Um
Oh, I didn't even
how,
see the chat.
yeah, you see,
Okay,
you see
got
now?
it. I see it now.
Mhm. Yeah.
I see it now.
So,
Yeah.
okay, good. Well, yeah, and that's the thing.
Oh, and now it's breaking up. Okay.
The good thing about
Okay.
this particular the good thing about this particular platform is I can actually highlight the
Mhm.
comments too if you need to see it bigger. So that's why I've just been monitoring the
Okay.
chat to see if they ask any questions, and then I could just put it on the screen for you. Um,
Okay.
but
Perfect.
how do you get back on track? Like, okay, because you've been doing this for like the last 2 years or so. So I'm
Yeah.
sure
February will
like
make three.
three. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that you have those times where, oh, it's Christmas break, so I'm gonna fall off a little bit. But how do you get back on? I don't know why,
Well,
but it's the
I wouldn't
hardest
even
for
say
me to get
Christmas
back
break
on.
because
Huh?
every I wouldn't even say Christmas break because every other weekend I fall out. But it's about I guess what I do is like sometimes on the weekend because I be so tired I would call myself like kind of emotional eater. Like if I'm tired or I'm stressed out or I'm bored, I like
Hmm.
to eat. Like that's my comfort is to eat. But when I tell myself I'm gonna get back on track, it's like some days I don't want to go work out, but I force myself to get up and go work out. I say, okay, done. You're not gonna keep making excuses because I know that like as long as like sometimes people like to have a support system. Like, yeah, a support system is good, but ain't nobody gonna come drag you out your bed. You gotta really want to get up and do it. So when I if I fall off on the weekend, the next day I start back with like, okay, I'm gonna say I already know what I'm gonna eat for that day. I already have it like written out in my log, and then I have a time written. I have my workout ready, and I go work out. Like my goal is to like just get right back on track. I never try to say, oh, okay, I'm gonna starve myself or oh, I'm gonna just eat this much. I go right back to eating the same amount of calories that I have, and before I know it, my weight will be right back down to where I was before the weekend. But of course, it'll take some time because, especially like on the weekends when I do kind of go overboard, which I do a lot.
Hmm.
It's usually stuff that I'm not usually eating. So my body doesn't like whenever you eat stuff that you're not usually eating, your body doesn't react well to it. So that's why I don't understand why I always go overboard because I always feel so sluggish
Hmm.
on Monday. But that'd be the worst time for me to want to start back. But on Mondays is my light day, so it's an easier day for me to try to get back on track. I have my workout already ready. I know what I'm gonna do when I go to the gym, and I just start right back with tracking the stuff that I have available or already planned for that day. And I guess it's even harder when you feel like you failed. I guess like that's one thing that a lot of people might hinder people from getting right back on track because you feel like you failed. And I used to struggle with that a lot. Like once I fall off, I'll be like, dang, I messed up. And it's so easy for you to just be like, well, just forget it, then I'm done. But you don't become a failure until you quit, until you say, okay, I'm not doing it anymore. But as long as you get back on track, like if it's something that you making like long term as a lifestyle, you're gonna have plenty weekends, plenty days where you fall off track. But like overall, just sticking to it, getting right back on track, get up, go to the gym,
Right.
choose your healthy option, but create that balance. Like I think more times when I fall off is because I'm trying to either go all in or wrong. You see what I'm saying? Like if either I'm gonna try to do everything right or it's wrong, but not trying to realize that if this is gonna be my life for the rest of my life, just trying to stay into a healthier groove, then I'm gonna have to find a way to. If I want to have a mimosa on Sunday, I'm gonna have a mimosa or maybe two on Sundays. But that doesn't change my progress. That doesn't change me from overall being a more healthier person. I think
Yeah.
just meal prep or make foods daily.
Yeah, I had put it up here. The
Yes, I
question
see
you
it.
was asking, and she actually had another question prior to that one, but this one is on the lines of what you're saying right now. But then she also wanted to talk about loose
Loose
skin.
skin. Yeah, I see that. Okay. So let's start. Okay, so for the meal prep, at one point on Sundays I would meal prep for myself, but other days I would go to HEB and I would buy those as well. But when I was in school, I would cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner because I had the time to do that. I never ate out. If I ate out, it probably like maybe one time on the weekend. But now I'm not sure if you guys follow me on Instagram. If you're located in Houston, I have one of my friends. She meal preps for me throughout the week, and my mother also does meal prep. I post about it on my Instagram as well, so that makes it easier for me because the meals are already prepared, and all I have to do is ding it in the microwave.
I'm actually happy you mentioned that because, girl, I forgot to be promoting you right here, right there.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, I have those in there as well, and I'll also add the link to my mother's meal prep. She meal preps as well, and so the girl that meal preps for me is pretty much like a variety. I like to like switch out. Like on the weekends, I like to eat my mama food. During the week, I eat her food just because it's easier with my schedule. Because sometimes on a busy day, I probably only have like a 2 hour window of a break, and that 2 hour includes me working out and eating or maybe creating content, like so that 2 hour break is real slim for me to try to go grab something to eat or cook something for myself. So that's the one thing that I do try to keep on top of meal prep. It's easier because it's easy for you to just keep track of what you're eating daily.
Hmm. Okay. So, and then
Loose.
also about the loose skin.
Okay. So when I said I had just made a video the other day about weight loss, and I was saying how when I first started my journey, a lot of people didn't, well, I guess I won't say like a lot of people don't talk about it, but when I first started, I didn't follow a lot of people on Instagram that was doing like weight loss. So it was like I didn't know what other people was doing. So when I lost a lot of weight and I got real small, like at my lowest I was about 157. I think that's the lowest I ever got, was 157.
Mm-hmm.
Hated being that small. By the way, I just started out. I hated being that small. I was like, this not gonna work for me. But I had so much loose skin, and at first, like it was like mid journey when I was a little bit heavy. I think I was about, think I was in still like the 200s, maybe either 200s or a little bit below 200. I was still heavier, and I had it so bad in between my legs. And I guess like I was just so busy with going through the days of the events of my days. I never really paid attention to it till one day I decided to go out to the club with my friend, and I wore this dress and I was dancing. And I was like, baby, what is all this going on in between my legs?
Right.
And at that point, I really sat down and I was like, I don't think I like this. I was like, I don't really think I like this. And so then when I was talking to my friend Cameron, he was like, sometimes that's like, that's the side effects of when you lose a lot of weight. And that's even like with women who have children. If your skin is stretched, sometimes it doesn't always snap back. Like it depends on your genetics if your skin allows you to go back into place. But
Mhm.
I know for me, I have it real bad, like in my breast area, like right around here in my
Mhm.
breast area. My legs are not like that anymore. I have like started to strength train more, so my legs are more solid. And even with my stomach, I know that I probably always have loose skin. And I was like, at first, I was a little bit self conscious about it. But then when I told myself, I'm like, Dunn, you lost a whole bunch of weight. So sometimes I start to like see this as my battle scars of like how far I've came, like how how committed I was to just changing my lifestyle. And so of course every day, sometimes I think about like, dang, I really do got all this skin, but I'm like, girl,
Right.
baby, loose skin or health problems. I take the loose skin over the health problems.
Right. And that's one thing too. For the people who are not familiar with you, how much have you lost in total? I know one of your videos said 147.
Yes, so 147 was at my like right when I was at my lowest, but the lowest I ever got was 157, so that was 154 pounds.
154 pounds. Okay,
Yeah,
wow. Wow, man. That is good. And I mean, I'm really more impressed because you are doing it in college. Because
it
I'm
was
telling you,
so
when I was in
easy.
college, girl, I didn't have any discipline about anything. You
It was
know,
so much easier when I was in college, and it's so crazy because like now that I'm back home, it's hard. It's way harder. But when I was in school, that my first year, I was like, I started my second semester my sophomore year. So that first year, I was just doing just about anything. I had been doing anything my whole life. So I guess once I had started to make that lifestyle change, it kind of excited me. Like it was exciting for me to see myself finally commit to something, and just to commit to like seeing how active that I could get. So that kind of what fueled me to keep going. Even like times where I fell off, that fueled me to keep going because I'm like, done. I remember when I was in high school, like when we used to have to run drills doing basketball, I would always be the last one. And like growing up, I used to be like, dang, baby, why can't I make it to the baseline on time?
mhm.
It really irritate me. And so now that I'm able to like run 4 miles without stopping, run 3 miles without stopping, sprint on the treadmill, like that's pretty much literally what keeps me going. Like me showing myself how much better I could be each and every day, even if I'm not being like all the way, like if I'm not doing everything all the way right, like that's perfectly fine with me, just to know that I'm still committed to it even days where I fall off.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, and let me see if we got anything else.
The
Okay.
supplements or vitamins. So I didn't take any like as far as like stuff to like help you lose weight. I didn't take any supplements. I was taking At one point I was taking the Goalie. I don't know if y'all saw that, the Goalie apple cider vinegar gummies. I was doing those real heavy, and I was taking. I'm trying to see. Cause what else was I taking? I was doing the Goalie, and then I do sea moss every morning because it's like a good superfood and it has zinc in it, like stuff to just boost your immune system. But other than that, I was like just sticking to my calorie intake, and like from time to time I will do like a detox. I'll probably detox maybe like once every 3 months. And sometimes if I do it more than that, it's like right after my menstrual.
Mhm.
That's just that I probably do it like right after my menstrual. But other than that, I really wasn't taking any supplements to help me lose weight. I just kind of drunk water, ate what I ate, tried to do right sometime, but wasn't right. I just got back on track.
Okay. And yeah, this is pretty much a woman's channel audience or
Okay,
whatever.
perfect.
We might have some gay guys sprinkled in, so you should be fine to say whatever you want to say.
Perfect. So,
So,
yeah, what
uh,
foods do you keep around to eat now when you are stressed and emotional eater? So, my go-to foods when I'm like stressed out is it's sweets. At one point during the pandemic, I was like literally craving cheesecake. That was my go-to when I would want to eat something sweet. And it's so crazy because growing up, I was never a sweet person. Like I wanted real food. I wanted a cheeseburger and some French fries. My sister, she loved the cake and the candy and stuff. I was never that type of person. But ever since that I was on my weight loss journey, it was like all of a sudden I would always crave sweet stuff. So I would also do like Yasso. I don't know if y'all heard those. Like Yasso has like these Greek yoga bars. They're about 100 calories. They have some for 180. Those are my go-to to like kill that sweet tooth real quick. Cause cheesecake right off the bat, it's like you can eat cheesecake every day, but that just that ain't gonna fit in those calories all the time. And so I'll eat those. But other than that, if I'm stressed out, I will cop to some cookie dough, some
Mm,
cookie dough ice cream and some cheesecake. And but in order to like try to ease my way up off of them, I would go for like the Greek yogurt bars or like Halo type ice cream. Really, really great taste for very, very low calorie. And then I also try to like make me some little cute sweet desserts at home for me to just get it out the way. But I really try to like stay away from like emotionally eating because I don't. Sometimes when I get too stressed out or too overwhelmed, I can eat and then I'll be okay, but not necessarily. It's just like temporarily cooling me down, you know.
mm. And another question was about your being a trainer. She was saying, was it always your goal to be the trainer, or did it just happen to fall in your lap?
No, when I first started, I was like, when I had lost like that first little set of weight, everybody was like, wow, I want you to train me. And I'm like, baby, hold on. I don't think I'm ready for that. I was like, I don't think I'm ready for it because I always feel like I had to be at a certain point in order to be able to train. And I see a lot of people like that I follow on Instagram sometimes, like people that I know, they'll be like, oh, okay, I can't train right now because I don't got my body right, or I'm not where I want to be. And like sometimes I do have those doubts, but it's like my goal for my clients is to promote health and wellness.
Mm-hmm.
That's my main goal. You can look however you want to look, and I can show you how to get the body that you want to get. But overall, if you focusing on the health and the wellness and you stick to that every single day, the body gonna come. It's gonna come with that. Like stick to the everyday events. When you first start your weight loss journey, if all you focus on is looking like this, it's gonna be hard to stick to the day-to-day routine because you already focusing on the end game. You already too focused on what you're gonna look like when you finish. And I'm saying that from experience because once I got smaller to the point where I was like, oh, it was like a potential where I was like almost on the verge where I would not have no stomach. All I focused was, oh, how I'm gonna look when I lose this stomach, how I'm gonna look when I tighten this up, so it wasn't that's all I focused on. So it was hard for me to just say, okay, then you're gonna work out this day and you're gonna track your calories because I was always trying to just do everything right so I can look, always thinking about what I'm gonna look like at the end. So when people start asking me to become a trainer and a pandemic hit, I came home and I was like, okay, let me do a boot camp. So just try it out just to see if like this is something I really want to do. And I actually felt in love with it, just like helping women find their inner strength and pushing them beyond their comfort zone when it comes to exercise. And most people are afraid to just get out of that comfort zone and come sweat. Once you get out here and you start, even if you log on to Zoom, once you start, it's like once you start to see what you can do, you'll be surprised at how far you could go with just learning to just be okay with being uncomfortable to get to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
I take regular. I do the elderberry sea moss, the
uh,
elderberry one. Yeah.
okay, yeah, and I bought sea moss. I bought the plain one. I took it regularly for a few weeks, but I need to order another one because that's the weird thing. How do you know whenever it's gone bad? Because it only lasts for like a couple of weeks.
You
But
know
it
when it's
always
going
tastes
bad
like
because
plain grits.
anytime I open it, I always look inside because one time I had fell off and I stopped taking it, and then all of a sudden I went in the refrigerator to open it and I said, "Mama, this something go bad." So I just it's like a vegetarian food store by my house, so that's why I go by because it's right around the corner, and so I would just go buy another one. But that's why I try to make sure I stay on top of it and eat
Right.
a spoon of it every single day, so then that way it's not going bad. Like it'll be gone before it's time to go bad.
Yeah, because that's what happened with me. Like I think I fell off with that taking it for like a couple of weeks. And then when I decided to get back with it,
It look
I
hard. It
yeah,
look
it was
horrible.
like, and I ordered it online. So I gotta order another thing of it. But
Yeah,
I'm happy that you answered that question about the sea moss.
yeah, so that's like I would just try to like make it a part of my daily morning routine. Like when I take my probiotic in the morning, I take this probiotic because at one point I was having like digestive issues. I
Mhm.
wasn't able to use the restroom normally, so my doctor recommended this probiotic that I take every morning. So I try to say, okay, I'm gonna take my probiotic and let me just go get the sea moss so I can just make that all in one book just to keep
Mhm.
keep me on track.
Okay, okay. Let me see if they have any other questions. I think y'all we have Dawn with us for like maybe 10 more minutes. So if you got questions,
Okay.
put them here. And I appreciate you for being here and being so open and answering the questions to everybody because I definitely I definitely wanted to connect with you about this because yeah, I could sit there and watch all of your videos and videos and videos or be on your Instagram scrolling and scrolling. But I was like, I would prefer to be able to have a direct conversation and that way anybody that had questions doing because the way I'm doing this channel, this particular one, is I'm actually trying to document myself as I go, and let people see me go. And I appreciate it because it has inspired some of the people on here to kind of join in with me. Like when I first lost my first 9 pounds and I had did my live stream about my 9 pounds that I lost. And then that encouraged people to come on and try certain things with me. But it was one other question that I had for you, and now it done slipped my mind. Oh,
Well,
what do you think about like keto and things like that? Do you believe in those types of things?
so this is my take on those things. Hold on. Hold on one second. Y'all, one second.
Okay.
So this is my take on it. So I'm a person that does a lot of research. At first, I was not like that. I was not a person like once I feel like I believe something, I just stuck with it. But now I feel like I'm a person that literally does a lot of research, especially because I've been working on trying to get my certification. And one duty of like being a personal trainer is to inform my clients on things, that will help them and things that just, no.
Mm-hmm.
So what I feel about the keto is it definitely helps you lose weight fast because your body goes through ketosis. If you're not intaking a certain amount of carbs, then your body is just going to break down, like rely on fat and break that down throughout that process. So, uh, I wouldn't recommend going on keto because it's not like I feel like it's not realistic long term unless a person can really stick to it for a long term thing. I do recommend it for like a regular lifestyle for people who have diabetes because they have to control how many sugars and carbs that they're taking in. So it's realistic for somebody like that because they unconsciously kind of have to follow a low carb diet. You see what I'm saying? Just to keep their
Mm-hmm.
health in check. So with keto, yes, you lose 35 pounds quick, but since you starve your body for carbs for so long, as soon as you start to bring those back in, it's like your body will go crazy. So it's kind of like the way to come back faster than you lost it because it's like your body haven't like had that for a long time. And I kind of refer that to like even when you do like those month challenges, and I'm not speaking for everybody because everybody's self-discipline level is different, but I'm speaking for my own experience because I know one time I did this 1 month challenge where I didn't eat no chips, I didn't drink no alcohol, no sugar, no nothing, and I think I lost about 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
This month gained 12. I think I gained 5 or 6 and the next day after the month ended.
Right.
It's like once you take those things out, it's like your body get adjusted to it. You see what I'm saying? So then when you bring it back in, then your body have to get readjusted. So if you do not have to follow a low carb diet and put your body through ketosis, like for health reason, I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
recommend it. And even like I feel like anything you do to lose weight, it's many ways out here to lose weight. Whatever you do, you just have to stay consistent. And sometimes like following a low carb diet is not super consistent for people who love like pizza and cheesecake like me. It's just not super. It's not just like super things that you could just stick to for a long time. That's how I feel about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious about that because yeah, I even whenever I'm trying to do my intermittent fasting, I people were like, "Well, if you do intermittent fasting, but then when you eat, make sure it's keto and all this." And I just feel like anytime you're doing the intermittent fasting, you are sure to have a caloric deficit. So it's like, what's the point? And then whenever I started watching your videos, and I saw you got like frozen dinners and stuff out the freezer in one of your videos, and I'm like, you have these people telling you, oh, it has to be fruits, vegetables, fresh produce and stuff.
Yeah.
But then I saw you over there, and it's like you buy these like little frozen meals, and I'm just gonna have one of this and then one of that, that type of thing.
I have to make it work because I know me from just being overweight for literally long time in my life. I have to literally make it work. And so when like one thing about intermittent fasting, I did it for a while and I lost a lot of weight. And the only thing that I would say be careful with being on intermittent fasting is making sure that you're eating enough through that window. And so
Mhm.
a lot of people when they start to lose weight, that's their first thing is to like try to cut down on what they're eating. Like, yeah, you want to cut down on what you're eating, but you don't want to cut down too much to where you're not eating enough. So if you're not giving your body enough fuel to burn off or feel like you starving it almost, then it will go into starvation mode and just start to store that fat. So then it'll be kind of harder for you to lose weight. And then however many calories that you're eating, which is probably super low, starts to become your maintenance. You see what I'm saying? It starts to become your maintenance. So then you will only have to eat less than that lower amount to keep it going. So that's why like when people ask me like what's their caloric deficit or they want me to help you figure it out, I usually try to start off at a pretty high number. So that like say this you're a person that want to lose 50 to 60 pounds. You don't want to start at like 1600 and then you down 10 pounds and then that becomes your maintenance. So then you only have to go 1500.
Mhm.
1400 to keep losing the weight as you want to. So if you start off higher, and another thing with the intermittent fasting is one thing I know is it's a good thing to do because it helps you stay on schedule with like learning how to eat within a window. And then plus on top of that, like you're not really supposed to eat a lot close to when it's time for you to go to sleep because your body won't fully rest if it's still trying to break down food. So that helps you keep that window at a good thing, especially if you're not a person that's super duper active. Like me, when I wake up in the morning, I'm training outside in the heat. So intermittent fasting is just not gonna work for me because my hands start hurting, I get hungry, I get irritated. So
Right.
that's the only thing that when it comes to intermittent fasting, just to make sure that you eating enough during that window that works with how much you're working out and even like fits with your goals.
Okay. And they had one last question. Yeah, and please like the video. Y'all definitely check out Dawn's link here to go and find all of her social media. I put her link tree hyperlink down there. It's been scrolling across the ticker. I also put her cash app if you want to be a blessing and contribute. But they said one last question for you. Outside of fitness, what else do you do for fun?
You want to know, Cassie? I'm really trying to figure that out. I'm really trying to figure it out because sometimes I really crave. Like I'm like, oh, I need a break. But then when I have a break, I really don't know what I would like to do. I like to go shopping. I like to buy clothes, and I like to buy like workout clothes. And other than that, I like to go eat. I like to go eat. I like to try different foods. I like to because now I'm trying to do like a pescatarian thing where I
Mhm.
don't really want to eat meat, which is really, really hard because I love chicken. So like I've been like on this kick where I go try like different vegan restaurants. So that's kind of like the stuff that I like to do. Go eat, try different foods and stuff on the weekend. But I'm really trying to find what I do like to do outside of fitness because most of my friends they not really deep into fitness how I am. So it's like what they like to do, I really don't like to do. So it's
Mhm.
like I'm trying to find a way where I feel like I really don't know what I like to do outside of fitness. Kind of like either sleep, work out, or eat. You
It,
know?
and that's the craziest part too with it. I think that's my biggest thing is I don't like it's not fun to me. Like working out is not fun. So the fact that
I appreciate your honesty.
the fact that you like, oh, that's what you do for fun, workout and all this, and I'm like, girl, like I finally got into the habit of actually trying to walk regularly, and I realized that I have to do it at a certain time in the morning before the sun comes up. Otherwise, it's not fun.
It's not
Like
fun.
whenever it's too hot out there, because yeah, I'm in Atlanta, so they call it hot Atlanta out here.
Yeah.
And if that sun is high, I'm not going to do it. So I have to make myself actually do it earlier in the mornings.
I would say that one thing that I have noticed is like shifting your mindset when it comes to it plays a lot of role in you enjoying working out because at one point I started to hate working out too because my main mindset was I gotta work out to look a certain way. And once you start thinking like that, Then you dread working out because you feel like you have to work out. But
Mm-hmm.
when you start working out and you think like, oh, this is appreciation of what my body can do, or I want to see like how like create more goals for yourself besides aesthetics, like besides like, oh, I want to be this weight, or I want to look this certain way, or create goals like, okay, if I'm squatting 20 pounds this week, I want to try to be squatting 60 pounds within 4 weeks, or I want to try to be able to, if I'm only running for 1 minute, I want to try to be able to run 2 minutes without stopping within the next 2 weeks or so. Creating like more performance goals, definitely try to like shift your mindset, because I tell people all the time like this weight loss journey is all mental. As long as you have like the positive thoughts in your head, not necessarily even positive, like just learn how to create that discipline for yourself and not make it seem like it's a must, like you have to do something to look a certain way. That could literally make everything dreadful. Like you won't want to do it at all because you feel like you have to. But once you start to like focus on like appreciating like things that your body could do, like just showing up to take that walk, or going to the gym for 30 minutes and doing a quick little circuit just to feel good, just to sweat, and like you'll start to like enjoy it over time. But just don't have it in your mind like I'm forcing myself to get up and go do this because I really don't want to, because then
Right.
you'll never kind of enjoy it at that point because it's not what you want to do.
Right. Okay. Well, hey to everybody else that came in. I don't see any other questions, so
Yeah,
I
you asked, do they have any other questions?
yeah, and Cassie is just laughing. She said, "I know it's hard, sis.
Yeah,
It is like it really is, but it's crazy because when you go over there to her dang on Instagram and her YouTube, she be doing that mess with a smile, and I'm like, girl, like you legit be doing it with a smile,
I
and
love
I
working
will
out.
tell you." I will look on your videos sometimes and like your first Zoom, I your first virtual Zoom. I watched it just to see what types of choreography you had, in it. And like each time you upload it, then I watched to see. I told you I may join you at some point. I may.
Good. It's 45 minutes. It's real quick. Very, very quick.
Okay. And yeah, for anybody else, y'all can find the Dawn Elizabeth on Instagram. You can also find her here on YouTube. She does virtual boot camps via Zoom if you do want to work out and get fit with her. I appreciate you so much for taking the time to have this
You're
conversation with me.
welcome.
Thank you. Well, yeah, I guess since there are no, one last question. It was one last question. Have you gotten any workout injuries?
No, I really haven't had any injuries. Now I just started boxing, and sometimes my wrist be hurt because I don't be punching right. But other than that, I really haven't had any workout injuries. So I just went and bought like a little a wrist thing so that I could like make sure I keep my wrist tight when I'm punching. But that's all. I haven't really had any workout injuries since I started working out.
Okay, good deal. Well, yeah, well, I will go ahead and end the broadcast. Thank y'all so much for joining. Definitely, if you missed the interview, catch the replay. Me and Don had a very interesting, down to earth conversation about black girl problems and black girl struggles and trying to get
Right.
worked out and all this kind of stuff. And I appreciate the insight. So, y'all take care, be blessed, don't stress. Talk to y'all later. Bye.